Another way that we have to collaborate with people is through a program called Planning Center. Many of you may already know about it, but it has helped us tremendously by keeping in touch with each other. We often share resources through Planning Center. We'll put each other on the list of people that have access to song selections. And we can see what's working at other churches that are like our churches, or maybe they're not like our church and we just want to try something different. It's a great way of just keeping connected. As you process developing your worship experience, there of course many ways of doing that, but one of the ways of course is by theme. You will have a theme that your pastor has given you for maybe a series or maybe just a standalone message. And there's great ways by using actually Planning Center and CCLI to find songs that actually have a search method in each of those programs for themes, and bringing up all sorts of song selections. Googling songs is another way. Looking at and Googling and seeing how people do a song differently through YouTube. These are ways that help you keep your worship fresh and keep it on track and directional in how you're going to lead worship that particular Sunday. And don't hesitate to try something different. That's something also that I think sometimes we get into our comfort zone and we're a little skittish about trying a song totally different than we've ever done it. Challenge yourself to perhaps not do something full band, and if it's an offering song or if it's a song that's in the time period for communion, really reflective. Allow yourself to just do something a cappella. Don't necessarily feel the need to do full band, do it acoustically. What do you think about that, Jonathan?
I agree, and to relate that back even to the idea of the rewrite of hymns and stuff like that, is it gives you the opportunity to do something fitting to your congregation. There's so much worship music out there and a ridiculous amount of styles that go into like these different bands that they have coming out with Hillsong United, Elevation Worship, all the way down to just good old-fashioned Paul Balash and all of those great worship leaders, and they're all so eclectic in their styles that it may not be fitting to every church, even though it's a good song, but that doesn't mean you can't reform it and make it more fitting to your congregational style, to where we took the doxology and it was kind of more fitting to our style here, and it's something that resonates with them. And yeah, I think it's good to know that you can go outside the box and not just stick to what you're hearing all the time. And it helps with choosing, it helps with getting a flow for the set as well, if you just are open to whatever it is that you can possibly do with that song, or what God's moving you to do in the midst of that service with that song at the moment. So
Absolutely. And again, not feeling like just because you have a full band, you have to utilize the full band every Sunday. We find that we do what we call our acoustic Sunday on Communion Sundays. First Sundays out of the month, we do a very stripped down worship, and there may only be 4 people in the team leading, which gives you the flexibility of giving some of your team a break. Many of us have a certain number of people that we can count on. Many of our churches are small, and you're always looking for ways to do it fresh and engaging your congregation while honoring God with all the gifts that you do have. You don't want to burn people out, so we try to offer it up differently. Jonathan mentioned some of the artists that are out there that have given us some great music, but they've also what I've learned in conferences, and I'm sure many of you have learned the same thing, is when you go to conferences and you have an artist, many times he doesn't have his huge entourage behind him. It's just him and his guitar, and or maybe just a keyboard player, and that's it. And worship can be done mightily. It could totally change your worship experience. So don't feel like if you don't have if you're looking at a worship experience from some other church and say, well, I don't have that and I don't have that. Well, you may not have that, but that doesn't necessarily mean what you have isn't going to be an amazing experience for the people that you lead in worship that particular day. So there is no norm, but again, contemporary worship evolves, and we have to kind of go with whatever we have and honor God through that in the best way that God's gifted us.
I think a common mistake is people do think that there's a template for the way worship needs to be every Sunday morning, and they don't recognize that, you know, God doesn't only move when the delay pedal comes on and the big loud music booms in and all this crazy, although beautiful music comes in, that's the only way God will move. That like he can move in the simplest of ways, where it could be just Christine's voice and my guitar and move so powerfully. But sometimes we get timid and think that because like there's this template set for it that we have to follow that. Like God's a creative God and he loves to move outside the box, and so it's a lot more fun just to follow him and see what else you can do, because he gave you that creative mindset. He gave you those gifts and those abilities to do such a thing. So to just go with him and move with how he moves in whatever style of worship that might end up being for one Sunday.
Right. And so we're hoping that through these snippets of videos that we can most importantly encourage you that that you know that there's a support system in our conference through Passionate Worship that wants to help in any way that we can. And so we'd like you to, if you have other questions that we're not addressing in our videos, please email me. We'd love to respond. We'll have guest people in our videos that may respond to exactly what you're looking to do in your contemporary worship experience. And so we're here to help and we're here to serve.